Gentlemen, and welcome to the November meeting of the Town of Poughkeepsie Zoning Board of Appeals. Would you please rise for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're enjoying a little break in the weather, so we'll get right started, and hopefully we can finish this meeting before the next snowstorm comes through. Many people are new to the Zoning Board of Appeals, so let me give a brief outline of our procedure. The meeting is divided into two parts. The first part is a series of public hearings on each of the applications before us. And we'll take these in the order that they're listed on the agenda. And a copy of the agenda is available in that little tray next to our attorney's desk. For each of the applications, we'll ask the applicant to come forward and to be sworn in. All testimony before the ZBA has to be sworn testimony. And at that point, we'll ask the applicant to give us just a brief review of what the application is about. At that point, each of the members of the board will have an opportunity to ask questions about aspects of the application. When we've finished, the floor will be open to anyone from the public that wishes to address that application, but that application only. Once we've finished with the public hearing, we'll return to the top of the agenda for the deliberation phase. During this part of the meeting, there's no further input from the public or anyone else for that matter. So you're welcome to stay and listen to our deliberations. Okay, the first item on our agenda, Anthony Cocello, 36 Carmen Drive. This was an item that was adjourned at the last meeting in order to give the applicant an opportunity to prepare some further information about precisely what he proposed to construct. And we have not received any of that, and so we'll adjourn this again to the following month. I should say that in the meantime, we have received a couple of letters. Be assured that those are being made part of the record, and that when we reopen the public hearing, these will be read into the record. But since we will be taking no action tonight, it seemed more appropriate to consider these letters when we're actually looking at the application itself. Okay, so if there's no okay, I guess the hearing is still open, so if it would be appropriate for people to speak?
Technically, yes, we should open the public hearing, have any public comment for the people that may not be able to make it next month.
Okay.
And then.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. So is there anyone that wishes to address item one? Yes, ma'am. Okay, just state your name into the microphone.
Nancy Marco John. I've been sworn in the very first meeting.
Okay.
So I know that I'm still under oath.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Mr. Cocello call and ask for an adjournment for today?
No, not that I know of.
Okay, then I don't understand why a decision shouldn't be made today then. He was given until today. He did not ask for an adjournment. And this has been very ruling on all of us. And I feel a decision should be made. He has not come up with any new plans. He's not made the certified architect drawings that was required of him. And I think it should be ruled on.
Yeah, well, I think it would be fair to say that in the history of the ZBA, we've tried to accommodate applicants. If they need a little more time to prepare things, we have always done that. And I think in fairness, what we asked was, a real architect analysis, a proposal, the drawings and whatever. This sometimes takes some time.
Chairman, I completely understand that, but he also, at the first meeting, was asked to come up with different ideas for the second meeting, which he did not, except for little less than a foot on his proposal. It was the same proposal as he did for the first meeting. And then he was given another 30 days to come up with these certified architect drawings. Had he called and asked for the adjournment, I would have no problem with you adjourning it. But I just don't think it's fair that he just doesn't show up, doesn't ask for the adjournment, doesn't provide the information that he was required to provide, and we have to now adjourn it again. I just don't find that fair.
I should point out, too, that I did tell him last week, when we had not yet received anything in advance of this meeting, that we were planning to adjourn it. So he did not just show up. We said that we think we need to have time to review materials beforehand, which is what we do for all applications, and so we would want to wait at that point until the next month, so we have that time. So I apologize for the inconvenience, but
Well, the only thing is that we did call the town, we called this afternoon still to find out, had, he'd known that it was going to be adjourned, because then we would not have shown up either, and we were told no. So I'm sorry, I just don't feel that it's fair.
I hadn't received a response from him to the message, but fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? If not, is there a motion to adjourn item number 1 to our December meeting? That would be December 10th.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so adjourned to December 10th. Okay. Item number 2, Richard Dietz, 14 Cardinal Drive. This was adjourned from last meeting because the applicant was not here.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm John McKee.
Oh,
I'm representing Mr. Dietz.
okay. All right, so, Paul, you want to?
Sure. You swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Very well.
Okay. Oh, yes, here, and there's a letter that you've signed that you're the representative.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Oh, it's, I'm looking to get an area variance for 3 separate structures on his property. One was a deck on his above-ground pool. The pool did have a permit, but the deck didn't have a permit, I guess. He has a shed in the back that's too close to the property line, and he has a enclosed porch in the back of his house, which also needs an area variance too.
Okay. And these are all, as I understand it, essentially side lot lines and, in the case of the shed, I guess a rear property line.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Christine, any questions?
No questions.
Paul?
Do you know offhand how long these have existed?
I think somewhere in late 80s he had them done. Maybe early 90s. It's been quite a while.
All right, thanks.
Art?
No questions.
Okay. All of those are essentially enclosed by that existing fence?
Yes. Yeah.
So, I could see the side porch.
Yeah.
The other two were essentially invisible.
Yeah.
Okay.
The question he had asked, though, I think the shed he had maybe 10 years ago.
Okay. All right, Larry?
No questions.
Tony?
I have no questions.
Carmen?
Oh, no questions.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application at 14 Cardinal Drive? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
Okay. Denise English, 641 Van Wagner Road. Yes, please come on up, have a seat.
This is my husband, Bob Nelson.
Okay, and so if both of you would just state your names for the record.
I'm Donnice English.
Bob Nielsen. Do you each swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Yes. Very well.
Okay, you want to explain just briefly what it is you're proposing to do? And why you
We
need
just
it?
want to build a roof canopy between the roof over our patio and the roof to the garage that would provide shelter over the walkway that connects the two. And prevent, right now, the two roofs go like this, and you get a drip line across the walk, and weather like this, it ends up with a mound of ice every year. We're trying to get away from that as we age gracefully.
Okay. I think this is a good week to have it. Yeah. Okay. Christine, any questions?
No questions.
Paul?
So as I understand it, the canopy or the roofway would be behind the setback of the existing structure, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so you just need this variance because that's in fact within the front yard setback?
Yes, the buildings were, this neighborhood used to be a 1 acre zoning or something like that. So the old setbacks were very different from what it is when it became a 5 acre zoned area.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right.
No, Paul asked the question.
Okay.
Sorry.
I have one quibble, and that's with the distances. If you do the arithmetic, the walkway is going to be located 73.62 feet from the front property line. So they're going to require a variance of 26.38 feet. Okay, look, I used to teach math, can't help it.
I did that as a rounding, so just in case there was it was slightly off in the measurements, they wouldn't have to come back, but that's, I looked at it and I thought.
I don't think it's going to make any difference, but like I say, it's just old habits. I was out and looked, and the canopy way makes. Are you going to be able to save that row of trees that are there?
Those trees will have to come out. They're growing too rapidly and growing up under the roof of the garage. But we'll replace it with a trellis and get some green growing in there. It'll be slightly different.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Larry?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen?
Just one question about the structure on the right. That is the garage?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're standing at the street looking at into the property, the garage is on the right,
Yeah.
house is on the left, and the little thing in the center is the patio area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application at 641 Van Wagner Road? Okay, seeing no one, if there are no further questions, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 4, LTCJ LLC, doing business as Caliber Collision, 487 Haight Avenue. Okay. All right, just have a seat and state your name.
My name is Linda Thompson.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true or complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. First, what is your connection with the application?
I represent basically Caliber Collision, the owner, LTCJ, and AJ Signs.
Okay, okay. Sir, Do we need a letter on that, or?
Are you
Oh.
employed by the sign company, AJ Signs?
I hired AJ Signs.
Oh, you're an officer of the collision company?
I'm a go-between.
The problem is we don't have an affidavit from the owner allowing you to be here. We have an affidavit from the owner allowing AJ Signs or Tom Wheeler to be here representing them.
I might have one that I can provide to you afterwards.
I mean, if the board wanted to act, we could do it subject to, make a condition of the variance subject to the provision of the owner's affidavit.
Okay, I guess,
Jim?
my issue here is that the county has commented. And this may be a situation where we would want to change some of the variances and modify, the proposal. And I'm just wondering, are you authorized?
Yes.
To do that?
Yes, and I have the comments from the county as well, so I know what they're.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm comfortable with it, but
If she can provide it later, can she come in toward the end and get what she's supposed to give us now? What do you mean by later? I don't understand what later means. Like tomorrow?
I probably have one on my computer that I could pull up and email to you.
I'm fine either way. I mean, I don't need it in hand right now.
okay.
So
I
that if-
don't want to hang this up on a technicality,
Right.
but I just want to make sure that you're comfortable speaking for the company.
Absolutely.
Okay, then I think we should just proceed in good faith. Fine.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, so I think, why don't we begin by your, just giving us a quick outline of what it is you're proposing, and then we'll get to the company, or get to the county. Oh, did you swear her in?
I did.
You did? Yeah.
Right, I apologize.
Oh, sorry. Okay, we're just, dotting all the i's and crossing the t's
She
here.
raised her hand, she said she wouldn't lie.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Yes, okay, so to the business at hand.
So Caliber Collision is taking over the location at 487 Haight Avenue. And I understand that is in the Arlington Town Center District, which severely restricts the amount of signage that is available. So that is why we're asking for this area variance to increase the amount of signage. At this point, we're asking for the 48 square sign over the front entrance and a 33 square foot sign on the southwest side. The one in the front will be lit, and then the one on the side is just a FCO non-lit flat cutout letters, as well as a freestanding sign, which would be on the corner there. And this freestanding sign is 24 square feet. So, based on what the county has said, and about not wanting to allow the two signs because it's redundant, because they're both on the south and southwest corner, we would amend the proposal to take that one off if we needed to. We're really most concerned with having adequate signage over the front entrance. All I can say is I've done a lot of Caliber collisions. There's 600 of them. And the signs are really nice and maintained well, and don't detract from the character of the area. But, you know, we're also open to suggestions because this is Poughkeepsie, this is your town, and so if you have any ideas. But the 15 square feet that's allowed is just, we don't know what to do with that.
Okay. Let me just read the county's letter into the record, and then we'll get into the details. To Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Poughkeepsie, the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the submitted referral for countywide and intermunicipal impacts as outlined in general municipal law. Action: the applicant is seeking area variances to permit 2 wall signs of 48 square feet south elevation and 33 square feet west elevation, where only 1 wall sign no larger than 15 square feet is permitted. In addition, the applicant is seeking a variance to permit a freestanding sign of 30 square feet, exceeding a previously approved area variance of 27 square feet. The property is located within the Arlington Town Center District. Comments: the existing building is located on the north side of Route 4455 facing the highway. Both proposed signs are located on the southwest corner of the building, sign C on the west elevation and sign A on the south elevation. These signs will both be visible at the same time to those traveling on Route 4455. As such, the additional sign is unnecessary and duplicative and should be removed. Recommendation: for the reasons stated above, we recommend the board deny one of the requested wall signs. Voting and reporting requirements: if the board acts contrary to our recommendation, the law requires that it do so by a majority plus 1 of the full membership of the board, and that it notify us of the reasons for its decisions. Owen Rafter, Commissioner, by Janet Tissier, Junior Planner. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me start, I think, with the easy one, and that's the freestanding sign, where you have a variance to allow a 27 square foot sign, and I think I heard you just say that you were going to have a 24. So that's really no longer an issue. You already have that variance. You change out the lettering or whatever, and that one's done.
That one's,
Okay. So we're just worried now about the 2 signs, one on the west and one on the south. And the south one is the one that's actually right on the arterial. Okay. 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 In looking at this and in discussing it with the staff, in particular Mike Welty, and those of us that were on the field trip on Friday, all I think looked at the sign on the west elevation and thought, okay, that makes sense. I mean, you're traveling along the arterial, you see that west end of the building, and there's a sign there that identifies it. Okay, and quite frankly, I don't have a problem with that. With the sign on the south side that's facing it. Many of us noticed that on the facade of that building, there is an area that looks like it's made for a sign. It's symmetrically located right in the center, and wondering why you don't use that for the sign rather than creating a new sign that is essentially at the end of the building. the west end of that south elevation.
The indention over the door,
Yeah,
over the garage, actually,
yeah,
or one of the garages.
Right.
It's well, in general, they like to put their main sign over the entrance because they don't like to have people getting confused and walking into the garages. So in this particular case, that is one of the reasons, and the other reason is that indention is too small for what they would like to do. So next door to that garage entrance is the front entrance where the awning is and the entrance to the office.
right.
So that's the reason why they wouldn't be using that. And I believe that indention has an engraving in it about the name of the building.
Okay, I don't recall that, but you may be correct.
But that's the reason. The main reason is they never like to put signs over garage bay entrances because people just automatically assume that that's how you get in.
Okay. Now, so one of the purposes of this sign is actually to identify an entrance.
Yes, the customer entrance into the office.
Okay, and that is only a pedestrian entrance.
Yes.
Okay, so people would drive to the site, park at that corner of Raymond and the Arterial, and then walk down to
To the office.
Okay, and I notice you're putting a canopy over the door.
Yes, a canopy or an awning with the address numerals on it.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, let some other people get involved here. Christine, you have any questions or comments on this?
Okay, so of the two signs.
Oh, and get your mic. Thank you.
Okay, of the two signs, the one that's more visible is the one that's, I'm not sure what direction that would be, when you're heading down the Arterial. That's the one that you see right on that corner, as opposed to over that big window that's next to the bay. Is that correct?
Yes. Which, this is a one-way street.
Yes.
So, yes, they would be able to see that one on the side first. But if they could only have one sign, they would definitely want the one over the office. And the one on the side, it would just be extra so that people could, as they're coming down the street, they get a heads up sooner that, oh, here it is.
Okay.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Paul?
Do you know the area of that indention above the bay door?
I don't. I probably have a survey with the measurements.
Okay.
But
Was there more? Or that
I mean, I was just saying I could probably guess, but I don't want to do that.
What do you think it is? It's probably like 10-foot wide bay door, right?
I would say it's. I would say it's about 9 feet in length and maybe 13 or 14 inches high.
Okay, so that would probably fit the authorized sign would fit in that area, right? Regardless of, no?
Oh, you mean what's allowed, the 15 square foot?
Right.
I'm not sure if quite 15 square feet would fit in there, but
Well, if it's 9 feet wide and 1 foot high, that would be less than 15, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And let me ask you this. Do you have a representation of what 15 feet looks like in your computer?
I don't know that I have anything that small. It's it's quite small for signage.
Okay. All right. And then if I could just understand the relationship between Caliber Collision and the owner of the property? You have a long-term lease or,
Yes, so,
I mean, I don't want you to reveal any trade secrets, but is it more than a year or two? Or
yes, it's more than a year or two.
okay, and it would be involving the entire building? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's yes.
Yes,
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
yes, once they open, unless they move from another building, sometimes they'll move into a temporary structure that they're not going to stay in while they build another one, but this one is a permanent Caliber Collision.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Art?
Were you also gonna mark the entrance to the office as office entrance on the door?
Yes, there'll be vinyl graphics on the door that will have the office hours and phone number and,
So if, like, as Paul was saying, so if you could fit that signage into the section over the door, and the office door said entrance office, people wouldn't really go in that door, correct?
even if we made a smaller sign and put it in that indention spot, we're still putting it over a garage door.
Which,
Can I interrupt you for just a
Sure.
moment? There's a temporary sign up there now, right?
There's a banner, yes.
Do you know the size of that?
Usually our banners are 32 square feet, but this one I think we might have had to make it smaller for the banner permit.
All right. Do you have an idea what that size is? Or Sandy, do you know? Okay. Okay, but that pretty much takes up the entire space over that bay door though, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I'm sorry to interrupt.
so you're fine. Okay, I'm still going back to if you put the name of the company over that bay, correct? Mm-hmm. And just to the left of that bay, you had a sign that said entrance office. Are people really not gonna be bright enough to go into the office entrance?
These people already crashed their cars.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're also on foot.
Correct.
they're on foot, but Caliber has very specific branding and trademark logo that we would have to make a completely different kind of sign in order to fit something in there. It would have to be a panel or something. We wouldn't be able to have the channel letters with the logo stripe. And again, I know it sounds funny, but you would be surprised at what they just sort of go to where the sign is. So we always want to have a sign over the office. And usually on these buildings, it'll be like a corner will be the office and then the rest will be the garage.
What that is. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
That's why we like to have the
And-
sign over the office.
Looking at the last business that was there, I would say over 90% of the time, that bay door is closed. Yes?
It depends on, I'm from Texas, so our doors are always open. Here, it might be different, but I assume it gets pretty warm in the spring and summer.
A lot of questions, but I think we're going in circles here, so I'll
Yeah,
pass it on to you.
okay. All right. To me, the signs are backwards, and that'll be flipped. In other words, the larger of the two wall signs should be the one that you see as you're driving down the arterial. Once you get in front of the building, that's not a very wide street. So you really don't need a very large sign to be visible.
I would say a couple things to that. Yes, the signs are to identify the building and the business, but it's also an aesthetic thing. I understand what you're saying about they're backwards. Yes, I guess so if you're looking strictly at visibility. But as far as it actually looks, it's going to look much better with the frontlit channel letters over the office than having them along the side. And then having these flat cutouts, which are good signage, but as far as aesthetics, it doesn't have the same presentation as the other letters.
Okay. Okay. Larry?
So they're gonna park in the parking lot past the buildings. So when they're walking towards the office, unless there's a sign there with an arrow that's the office, they're gonna go into the first empty space they see. The fact that the office sign says office, they can't see that as they're passing by the garage doors.
Well, they will see the awning. You know, they will see an awning and a normal-sized door while they're walking, but since it's a one-way street, they'll have had to drive by the whole building before they turn left into the parking lot. So I would think that it all makes sense and comes together, and I can say that with pretty good degree of certainty just because of how many we've done and how many different cities and how many different buildings. And we don't take variances lightly. We don't do them often. But in certain cases, we feel very strongly that we need to work with the townships and the cities to come up with something that's good for everybody. We certainly are not trying to be garish or change the look or anything of the neighborhood, but we feel like what we're proposing is justifiable.
Okay. Anything else? No. Tony?
You know, just from a consumer's point of view, it would seem to me that that the west-facing sign, if that was a channel-lit sign, that would do a lot more to enhance your business than the southbound-facing sign. That will announce to anybody coming westbound, eastbound on the arterial that your business is there. Anybody coming up Raymond Avenue is going to see your monument sign proposed for the corner. Once you're on the property, I don't see what enhancement, that 48 square foot sign above that southwest corner of the building is going to have. The awning, I think, is going to speak for itself in letting reasonably enlightened people know where to enter. So I think you'd have a lot better time at achieving the result, not only with the county and the board, but also with the consumer by having a lit sign facing westbound as opposed to a southbound sign that really seems to serve no purpose at all unless you're walking past the building, in which case probably don't need a collision place.
Well, there's a couple of things with that. Again, there's they like to have a sign over their office. It's not all just for as much signage as they can get, so to say. Getting a sign lit on that west wall will be a lot more difficult to do the wiring. That's why they're flat cutouts. Than it will if it's over the front to get them lit. But also, it would just, to the client, to Caliber Collision and to what it looks like with the rest of their stores, it would just look very kind of naked over the office door. You know what I'm saying? So having that sign on the side, having that little sign on the side is,
Where's the nearest Caliber Collision other than this one?
from Poughkeepsie, let's see, the nearest,
Just roughly. I've just never heard of them before.
so they just put, about Saratoga Springs,
So I guess my other thing to what you just said was that, you know, it would make them all look alike, but I'm not quite sure that anybody's going to notice the difference in Poughkeepsie.
well, maybe not yet, but I will say that maybe you haven't seen any yet, but we're opening them all around this area. And we don't want to change the character of the sign, but we do want it, we want it to make sense. We want it to make sense on the building. And I really think, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that this one, this one does make sense. And the other thing is, most of the business is not a drive-by, oh, let me stop by Caliber Collision. It's usually you're being directed there by your insurance agent or somebody. So, I definitely want the sign over the office. I definitely want that. The size can maybe fluctuate a little bit, but the sign on the side on the west side would be nice, but it's not where they want their main sign. And
Okay. All right. Anything more, Tony?
That's it.
Okay. Carmen?
Yeah, you have the freestanding sign.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think that's sufficient for the south side, and I just don't see the need for a sign on that part of the building.
I respectfully disagree because of the distance of the freestanding sign in the corner of the lot, because there's the parking lot in between. But again, I think that the office and that part of the building, which is the office and not the garage, should be. That's where a wall sign should go. A building sign should be allowed, and that's usually the case. You can have at least one wall sign and one freestanding sign.
Oh, okay. I think through this, it's become clear kind of what your priorities are, and I think you've kind of heard where we're coming from, and the county, of course, is another wild card.
I feel like the county doesn't want the sign on the west side, and I feel like the council would prefer not to have the sign on the building on the south side.
Okay. Let me just toss this out as an idea we can kick around. What if we eliminated the sign on the west side? Okay, that makes the county happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not terribly wild about it, but okay. And that, for you, it's an absolute priority to have something over that office. So let's have an illuminated sign over that office, but not as large as the one that you're proposing.
Okay.
Maybe make it as large as the one that you're proposing, that you had proposed for the west end.
So the 33 square feet?
Yeah, something on that order.
It would, well, the sign on the side was a stacked sign, but we can work and work with 33 square feet.
Okay, I just think 48
It's too big.
is large considering where it is. I mean, it's across the street from the old school building. So nobody's going to be more than, in a car or on foot, going to be more than 60, 70 feet at most from it.
Mm-hmm.
So you really don't need a big sign. Okay, and I understand, I don't totally agree, but I understand why you want a sign over essentially the business office and the main entrance. Okay, I mean, when you go to malls, that's the rule, you know, the sign tells you sort of where to go. Okay, I do get that. So sort of help me out. Would this work?
I think that makes sense.
Smaller sign, definitely smaller sign.
But
But nothing on the south side of it.
a smaller illuminated sign in the kind of general location where they want to do it.
Right.
And we just let that little sign thing over the garage door, just leave that blank, or,
Yeah, that will be blank, or, I do believe it has an engraving in it, but.
Okay.
So that would stay, we can design a smaller sign for that space.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
just to interrupt, I'd like to see a rendition of it though before, because actually I thought 15 square feet, which is about the area over top of that bay, is a nice size. They could put it wherever they wanted. You want to double that a little bit more. So I'd like to see some renditions of that if there's no objection to that.
okay.
If they wanted to do like what 15 square feet looks like, and then what 33 square feet looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that something you can do?
I mean, I can't do it right during the meeting.
Yeah, we have a little time.
Yeah, okay. Larry, Tony, Carmen, is this
I'd much rather see.
a way to proceed here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so just to make sure that we all, okay, you're going to come back with a new proposal or a modified proposal that would eliminate the
The west
33
side.
square foot sign that's on the west facade, and come in with a new design, two new designs for the south facade. Would be illuminated signs, one showing what 15 square foot would look like, and another what 33 square feet would look like.
I will point out one thing about the size is when you get too small with these channel letters, these internally illuminated channel letters, you can't get the same uniformity of the lumens going out as well. So that is another concern because.
That's fine, because it's going to have to be off at night anyway.
After the shop closes, it has to turn off
Okay, so.
Well, at what?
after business hours, right?
Is it after business hours, or is it after 10?
Okay, so, okay, 10 o'clock,
Yeah,
before midnight.
yeah. Okay, but.
Yes, we'll have
Yeah,
it.
but I take your meaning about.
Yeah, because it doesn't look good if there's different
Well,
lumens.
yeah.
But so do you want me to mail this and send this in, or come back on the 10th of December?
No, we should get them beforehand.
Yeah, if you could get it to us beforehand, and we'd distribute it, and then we talk about it at the next meeting.
Okay, that's.
And that would be great if you could include the owner affidavit at the same time. Then we'll
Okay.
wrap all those.
Yeah,
up.
okay, that'd take care of it.
Somebody has to be here next meeting, not her, not her. It may not be her, but somebody has to show up, right?
Yeah,
Next meeting, the 10th.
yeah,
December.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But, the sooner you can get it to us, then, we can look at it and go out there and stand in the cold and see what it looks like.
You just want drawings, right?
Like what you
Yeah,
provided with the one at your application.
Okay, for a second, I thought you wanted us to build samples, which sometimes we do, but.
No, a photo mock-up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so for the purpose of this meeting, we're going to just adjourn it until the 10th,
Absolutely.
and I'll get everything to you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
All right, just before we actually adjourn, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application at 487 Haight Avenue? Okay, if not, is there a motion to adjourn to
So move.
December 10th? Okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, so we will look at this at our next meeting. Okay, item number 5, Planet Wings, 661 Duchess Turnpike. Should. Okay, if you just state your name.
Good evening, Dennis Lynch with MA Day Engineering, here representing the applicant.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony provided tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Very well.
Okay, so you want to just kind of walk us through this quickly?
Sure. The site was the former home of the Planet Wings. Since then, it's been renovated. It's now the Verizon store. We are proposing to put an addition right here to the rear of the building, approximately 1,500 square feet. The parcel itself is located in the shopping center business. With that, it's a typical lot size of a minimum of 15 acres. This is an existing parcel that's approximately 0.7 acres. With that, the setbacks are scaled for a larger parcel, so they're 100 foot for the front, rear, and side setbacks. What we're here for is 3 variances: one for the rear, the other property here, which is 11.2, which is maintained. We're maintaining the same separation of the existing building. Again, for the front yard here, we're proposing the 51, which again is in line with the existing building, and we're proposing it's 74, I believe, from the side or rear. Also, as part of this, the existing lighting that's there, it's located basically along the property lines here. At the property line, it's supposed to be no more than 0.2. Since it's existing, it's slightly more than 0.2.
Okay. Christine?
No questions right now.
Paul?
On the plans, you describe the existing building as 3,460 square feet. There's an asterisk saying area includes uncovered equipment area.
There was, as part of the, we were in front of the planning board, do the change of use from the Planet Wings to the Verizon. At that time, there was a small enclosure that was in the back that was uncovered. That was the existing, so that has since been removed.
Okay, all right. And do you have a tenant for the building?
Not right now, no.
Okay, that's all.
Okay. Art?
Let me think about this. You go. I'm gonna hold for a minute.
Okay. And I was just gonna say, it's a very tight parcel, and it's situated, bordered in part by a creek, in part by the oil change place. It's, to try to do anything with that is going to require variances of some kind, so I'm just not surprised. Why did the lighting issue come up? Quite frankly, this is something we don't see very often.
When we were in front of the planning board, we provided a photometric, which there is some existing lighting that's basically where the light levels are above the 0.2 are located. It's along the property line.
Yeah.
Anything that we're proposing is less than the .2. Basically, the existing site lighting that's going to be there is going to remain, and there's going to be some small wall pack lighting that we're proposing here. We were directed by the zoning administrator to come. Right now, I mean, they're LED lights. They're relatively new. They've been there for years and years and years. The original lights, and then they switched out. It's on that intersection. I mean, there's street lighting that's on, so you're not really gonna have any impact, but it was directed from the zoning administrator, since it is over. We are in front of the planning board as an application, so they said it would require, even though it's an existing condition.
I'm sorry, I have another question.
Pardon?
Were you done? But I have another question, I'm sorry. Did planning board have any concerns about the traffic impact on the north end on Burnett Boulevard in ingress and egress?
No, there wasn't.
I have a concern about the getting in and out of there.
Crossing the double lane of traffic.
Yeah. Do you have any, planning didn't have any concerns about that entrance or exit?
No, they did not.
Okay.
Art, did you have any?
No, I was looking at the lumens and you got it.
Oh,
You asked
okay.
about the foot candles and stuff, but like you said, there's so much other light in that intersection that I don't guess you'd even notice the difference.
Yeah.
So this has got nothing to do with signage, you're just looking for the setbacks right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, Larry,
No questions.
Tony,
No questions.
Carmen?
Questions?
Okay. So anyone in the audience have any comment on the application 661 Dutchess Turnpike at Wings? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, item number 6, Adams Fair Acre Farms, 741, 765 Dutchess Turnpike.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Marcel Garcia for Adams Fair Acre Farms.
You swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Very well.
Okay, and what brings you here?
We've had two signs on the gable end facing Route 44. It's the south end of the Adams Cafe. They've been there, our best estimate is between 2002 and 2005 they were put up. One is a small lit sign that says cafe, it's red but not neon. And underneath it is a simple metal strip sign that says ice cream parlor. We provided photographs with dimensions, and we're seeking relief from 210-127 that'll legalize these signs.
Okay, Christine, any questions?
No questions.
Paul?
What brought this to anyone's attention?
We recently completed an extensive renovation, and in an attempt to obtain a certificate of occupancy, this was the last hurdle. We've cleared Mr. Holman's office, and we're here now to satisfy zoning and hopefully get a certificate of occupancy.
All right, and I'm sorry, did you say how long those existed, those signs?
We believe between 2002 and 2005 they went up. Before 2001, that was the chocolate shop, so our best guess is somewhere in there.
All right, that's all.
No changes at all, other than to get it legalized. That's what you want to do.
To those two signs? No. No, they're up as is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Larry?
No question.
Tony?
No question.
Carmen?
No question.
Okay. Anyone in the audience wish to address the application at Adams Fair Acre Farms? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you for your
much.
time.
Item number 7, Empire Hotel Development, 2165 South Road. At the request of the applicant has requested that we adjourn this to the next meeting. Because there's going to be another variance application, and they would like to handle them all at the same time. So Unless is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application at 2165 South Road? Okay, if not, I move that we adjourn item number 7 to our December meeting, December 10th.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I should also note that the county has sent a letter, which I guess I have not seen yet, but they have some issues with the sign proposal, so that will be one of the things that we'll be dealing with next time. Okay, that brings us to the end of our public hearings. Do we want to proceed directly to deliberations, or do people need a recess?
Yes.
Away we go. Okay.
Jim, on this last one, Empire Hotel,
Yeah.
if the county has some questions, are we going to ask them to give us the different sizes, small, medium, and large type of thing?
They've gotten their letter.
Okay, yeah, the Sandy tells me the applicant has gotten a copy of the county's comment.
Okay,
So they're aware of that.
okay,
They have provided us with two different renderings, a smaller sign and a larger one.
right.
So that's in the packet. I believe, Sandy tells me that what's coming is a request for a variance for a freestanding sign that would be somewhere along Route 9. And that would be, that's kind of what we would expect.
Right.
So we'll just have to look at that when it comes in. Okay?
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, back to the top of the agenda, item number 1 has been adjourned. Okay. Item number 2, Richard Dietz, 14 Cardinal Drive. These are variances to allow an existing covered porch to be 12 feet 8 inches from the side property line where 20 feet is required. A second variance to allow an existing pool to be 5 feet 8 inches from the side property line where 20 feet is required. And a third variance to allow an existing shed to be 3 feet from the rear property line where 10 feet is required. Is a type 2 action, so there's no environmental issues we need to deal with. Okay, comments, questions? I don't see any problem with this. Does anybody have any issues?
No.
So long.
Exactly. Okay, okay. I move that the board adopt as findings the following. 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood. The board finds that the fact that all 3 of these have been in existence for a number of years, that there will be no change in the character of the neighborhood. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method, board finds that the only alternative right now would be the removal of these various structures, and that's simply not feasible. 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Some of the shed is substantially close to the rear property line. The board finds that the others, the enclosed porch and the pool, are similar to other kinds of structures found in this neighborhood and are not a substantial change. 4, whether the requested variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. The board finds that for a number of years, these structures have existed and have had no inverse or adverse effect. And 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. The board finds that the difficulties were self-created because in some cases they appear to have been created without the proper variances or permits. And in that sense, they are self-created, but that does not preclude the granting of the variance. Okay, I move that those serve as the findings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Christine, you want to do the motion on this one?
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 2. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the chair. So move.
Second.
Okay, a motion to approve the variances in item number 2. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Approved 7-0. Item number 3, Denise English, 641 Van Wagner Road. It's a variance to allow the construction of a covered walkway to be located 73.62 feet from the front property line where 100 feet is required, requiring variance of 26.38 feet. This also is a type 2 action, so there's no environmentals. Okay, consensus on that?
Yeah, it's set back behind the major property structures, and it's, the topography of the area isn't going to change anything. And I don't know if his testimony included it, but I think there's going to be some landscaping in front of that anyway, so I don't see there being any impact on the environment or the neighborhood, other than a, increase in the value.
Okay, so that sounds good to me. Works for me. Yeah, it makes sense. The applicant has filled out the form, and I would move that the board adopt as findings the applicant's answers to the questions 1 through 5 in the application. In there, it points out that the reason they need a variant is that the zoning was changed, so the setbacks changed. As Paul mentioned, this represents this is not something that's closer to the front than the existing property already is. And as the applicants noted, they plan to provide some new screening. So I don't see that there's any adverse impacts here. So I move that we adopt as findings the applicant's answers to questions 1 through 5.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Paul, do you want to do the motion on this one?
Sure, I move to approve the request for an area variance set forth in number 3. Decisions based upon a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site visits by the boards, and approving this variance, the board adopts the findings in the applicant's application as well as set forth by the chair.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve item number 3 has been made and seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Approved, 7-0. Item number 4 has been adjourned to December 10th. Item number 5, Planet Wings, 661 Dutchess Turnpike. Variances to allow the construction of a building addition with a side yard setback of 11.2 feet where 100 feet is required. 2, a front yard setback of 51 feet where 100 feet is required. 3, a rear yard setback of 76.3 feet where 100 feet is required. And 4, to allow illumination at the property line of an average of 2.2 foot candles with a maximum of 5.8 foot candles where a maximum of 0.02 foot candles is permitted. This is a type 2 action, so there's no environmental issue. The county has said that this is a matter of local concern, and in your packet, you'll find a staff report recommending that these variances be approved. Okay, any question, discussion? Okay, I think this is a straightforward, it's because of the location, it's difficult to imagine that any of these variances would have an impact on anybody, really.
It's all commercial.
All commercial, yeah.
The only concern I have is that, is the addition, what additional parking there will be and use of that building based upon the entrance on the north end of Burnett Boulevard, but.
I know, but the planning board has signed off on this, and, normally they
Yes.
look at, I hope they did take a hard look at it, because it's a little,
It's not an easy way to get out. It's certainly, if you're gonna make it south, it's not easy, and you can't make a left out of there, so.
right, okay. Okay, Art, do you wanna?
Sure. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item 5. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site visits by board members, and the staff report. In approving this variance, the board adopts its findings, determinations found in 1 through 5 of the staff report. With no other things.
Second?
Okay, motion to approve the variances at Planet Wings, item number 5, have been made and seconded. There's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Approved 7-0. Okay, Adams Fairacre Farms, 741, 765 Dutchess Turnpike. Variances to legalize 2 existing wall signs totaling less than 20 square feet, but which are in addition to the 1 existing wall sign. This is an unlisted action, but there has been submitted an environmental assessment short form. So I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency for the purposes of evaluating the environmental impact of item number 6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I further move that the ZBA find, based on the EAF short form that's been submitted, that the actions proposed in item number 6 will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. The county has notified us that they consider this a matter of local concern, and in the packet, you will notice there's a staff report recommending that this be approved. So, okay, all right. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 6. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts as findings the items 1 through 5 of the staff report. So move.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the variances in item number 6. If there are no further questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved 7-0. And item number 7 has been adjourned to December 10th at the request of the applicant. And I believe that brings us to the end of our agenda. If there's no new business before the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned, and I wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Everybody, if you're traveling, please drive carefully, but do enjoy.